All right, so in 3-3, it was all the converses to 3-2, right? So in 3-3, we said if corresponding angles are congruent, if same side interior angles are supplementary, or consecutive interior are supplementary, if alternate interior, alternate exterior are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So we took all the theorems from 3-2 and we flipped them. So for number 1, you're using those theorems. It says find the value of x that makes P parallel to Q. So if P was parallel to Q, what would be true about these two angles?
They add up to 180.
Nope, they would be on the same side if you're using consecutive.
3x equals 43.
What are these called?
Alternate interior.
Alternate interior. They would be congruent. So 3x should equal 2x plus 43. And then I would subtract the 2x, and x would equal 43. So if x is 43, then those lines, those angles would be congruent, and those are alternate interior. If the alternate interior are congruent, then the lines are parallel. 2 says, can you prove A is parallel to B? And if so, what theorem would you use? Jonathan.
I said yes, and you can use alternate interior angles there. Or
Alternate. Good. Alternate interior angles converse. Theorem. Or theorem converse, the order there doesn't matter.
Interior theorem converse.
That's fine. Yep. So, and only because it's this one and this one. If it was the other way around, so if it was this one and only here or only here, it wouldn't be enough because it's not that full angle. It would have to be this full thing. Okay. So because it was those two angles, it worked. Those are alternate interior and alternate interior are congruent. Then the lines are parallel. Come on, do you have a question?
On the test, what if I just put alternate interior converse and not the converse?
If you don't do the converse, you're going to lose points. So be careful. If the lines are parallel, so you're proving the angles are congruent, now that's the initial one. But if you're using that the angles are congruent to prove they're parallel, it has to be the converse.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are the quizzes going to be like multiple choice or no?
Part of it, like identifying the angles, like we gave you the names of the angles, but not all of it. Yeah. All right, 3. Which lines are parallel in this diagram, Nick? EF and DG, and how do you know that?
Because they're both same.
So you would want to say that these two are same side interior, right? If it asks why, right? Because angle E plus angle D equals 180, which means that they are same side interior, or same thing true with F and G, okay? These would be same side interior, or consecutive interior. Sorry, I keep saying the same thing. Consecutive interior, angle, converse. Marisol.
On the quiz, you have to explain why
No, it didn't say it. I just said if it had asked for it, right? And it wouldn't be back the other way, like it wouldn't be these two, because 95 and 80 don't add up to 180, or 85 and 100 don't add up to 180. So you couldn't use the other pair. It had to be EF and DG. All right, 4 says in the figure HJ, someone highlight, HJ is parallel to KL and KL is parallel to MN. What can you conclude, Sophia?
HJ is parallel to MN
And how do you know that?
because of the transitive property of parallel line.
Good. Okay, if two lines are parallel to the same line, then they are parallel to each other, and that's the transitive property of parallel.
On the test, do you want to cite like the transitive property of parallel lines, or just transitive property?
You need of parallel lines because transitive property could be used on segments, it could be used on angles, right? Because we're using this with the parallel lines, you would need that.
This is the last test.
Of the
Quiz
quarter.
test.
This is the last you need to cover to review for your quiz. Okay, the quiz is going to be 3-1 to 3-3. In 3-1, it was all the vocab. It was parallel lines and parallel planes. It was skew lines. It was alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, corresponding angles, consecutive interior angles, and a transversal. Those were all vocab that was brought up in 3-1. I'm not done if you want to wait to take a picture because I'm going to add to it. In 3-2, it was all the theorems about parallel lines. So if parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then what do we know about the angles? What's true about alternate interior angles?
They're congruent.
Alternate interior angles are congruent. What's true about alternate exterior angles?
They're congruent.
What's true about consecutive? angles.
Equal 1 to 80.
Supplementary, good. Add up to 180 or supplementary. And corresponding. Oops, I didn't finish the word. Corresponding angles are congruent. And if I was to use any of those, the names are the actual name of the angle and the word theorem. So alternate interior angles theorem, alternate exterior angles theorem, consecutive angle theorem, or consecutive interior.
We don't all have copies.
No, not these. These are the actual initial ones. So these are if the lines, so if what you're given is that the lines are parallel, so you're saying something about the angles, those are the initial theorems. In 3.3, that's when we got the converse. So this was all the converses. So in 3.3, it was if the alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles congruent. If alternate exterior angles are congruent. If corresponding angles are congruent. If consecutive interior angles are congruent. And this time we added one more, which is if two lines are parallel to the same line. Okay, then the lines are parallel. So all five, there was 5 ways to prove that lines are parallel. Okay, all 5 of those. And these, the names would be the theorem converse or the converse of the theorem. So if you're, well, except for that one, actually. These are the converse. And this one is the transitive property. Property of parallel lines. Okay, but again, 5 ways to prove that the lines are parallel. So you're gonna see this obviously in different ways. One is it might ask you like, are they parallel? If so, why? Or it will be like something like what we did with the x, like what value of x makes them parallel, that kind of thing. Cal?
Would that be multiple choice?
No.